This might be one of the most featured phones on YouTube, but you probably never met anyone in real life that actually owns one of these. This phone was released in the mid-2017, and many people are comparing this to the iPhone. This phone is made by Google. This is not a Samsung phone, this is not an iPhone, this is made by Google. And videos on this device are blowing up on YouTube. It's everywhere. All the major tech YouTubers have covered this phone in their videos. But there's something that ain't quite right here. And I will tell you what. Comparing to other smartphones like the iPhone or the Samsung S8 or S9, which recently got out on the market, comparing it to those smartphones, this smartphone ain't selling near as much as the other flagships of 2017 and 2018. So let's rewind the clock a little bit. In 2017, by August 2017, the Samsung S8 has sold 20 million units. Samsung had shipped 20 million units of Samsung S8. And just to clarify, that is sales only stretched to August of 2017, not longer. So the S8 probably have sold a lot more units by now. Apple, on the other hand, combining all of their smartphones, the iPhone 8, 8 Plus and the iPhone X, have sold by 2018 over 95 million units. So that's a lot. So that is two of the biggest smartphone manufacturers on the market. So you got the numbers for Apple and Samsung. So what about Google? Well, Google only shipped 3.9 million units in 2017. That means that they shipped 3.9 million units of the Google Pixel and Google Pixel combined during 2017. It's 2018 now, so I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but it's a huge difference from other manufacturers like Samsung and Apple. So Google sells a lot less phones than other manufacturers. Well, sure, they are really new in this game. They have not made phones for so long, but this phone is all over the news. Everyone knows about this phone, but no one actually owns this phone. The popularity of this phone really shows in videos from tech YouTubers like MKBHD, where 11 months ago, MKBHD uploaded a Samsung S8 review, which got 3.9 million views. 4 months ago, he uploaded a review on the Google Pixel 2 XL, and he already got 4.5 million views on that review. Which means that the Google Pixel 2 XL is a lot more popular phone than the Samsung S8, but they're selling a lot less units. This has nothing to do with the price. The price is, well, it's a lot. It's like $800, it's like $800 or something like that. But it's not much more expensive than a Samsung, and it's even cheaper than an iPhone X. So it's not like people can't afford buying the Google Pixel 2 XL or the Pixel 2. It has to do with something else, and we're going to talk about that. It basically comes down to market. Both Samsung and Apple are selling their products in over 40 countries. You can buy an iPhone all over the world. You can buy a Samsung phone all over the world. They're sold in almost every country. Whereas the Google Pixel 2 is only available in 6 countries. Australia, the US, Canada, Puerto Rico, Germany, and the UK. So of course, selling your phone in 6 countries instead of over 40 countries makes a huge difference in sales. So sure, if you're living in the UK, the US, Canada or Germany, you might have seen or know someone who owns a Google Pixel 2. But for the rest of the world, it's really unusual to see these phones. For example, I'm from Sweden and I have not experienced anyone owning one of these phones. I know there are some people owning them, but I have never met anyone and never heard of anyone owning one of these phones. The way I got it was that I imported it first from UK to Denmark and through a company from Denmark to Sweden. But why? Why would you do this? Why would you not sell in more countries? Why? Everyone asks that question. Because nobody actually knows why Google don't sell their phones in more countries than they do. So I read an article about why Google don't sell their phones in Europe. It was something about like Google being sued by the EU Commission or something like that over like unfair marketing due to their own web shop, Google search thing, something like that, and that they would like be pissed off or something, and that's why they don't want to sell the Google Pixel 2 in Europe, or at least not in that many countries in Europe, because they actually sell them in Germany and in the UK, so I don't know. The article seemed a little bit fishy. I don't know if I believe that's only rumors. So it's also not worth mentioning that Google has problems with releasing their phones in China, because the Google Play Store is banned in China and things like that. And China is one of the largest smartphone markets. So not being able to release their phones there really helps them keeping their market units sold. So not being able to sell their phones in China really keeps their sales down, and is one of the reasons why their sale numbers are really low. But I got my own thoughts of why they don't maybe sell their phones in more countries. So I think it has to do a little bit about they making phones, which they haven't done for that long on their own. And maybe they want to try out their products really well in some countries before they ship them off all over the world. That would make sense, that they have like a trial of error period where if something happens, they haven't sold their units to every person on the freaking planet, you know. So I think that's partly the answer, but I also think it has to do with some of their features. So one of the main selling points of the Google Pixel is their AI. You can activate Google Assistant and you can basically ask Google Assistant anything and Google Assistant will answer you. You can do a lot with Google Assistant, and it's a great selling point for them. It's something that they value a lot. But you can't actually use Google Assistant in that many languages. It's only a few languages. Japanese is one of them actually, but they don't sell them in Japan, so that's weird. But it might have to do with that they can't really apply one of their main features on the phone to the market they're selling them to. For example, Sweden. I can't really use Google Assistant in Swedish, so I have to use it in English, and that means that I have to text message people I know in English if I am using Google Assistant. So that's one reason I think that they don't release this in more countries, because it doesn't support languages. So the other reason might be that they have to take regulations into account, and maybe there's regulations in Europe they have to take into consideration, and maybe Germany and UK are not as profound in those areas. I know that UK isn't even in EU anymore, so that might be one of the reasons they're selling the Google Pixel there. And this is also true for the Google Pixel. The original Google smartphone did not reach the Swedish market. The reason you can buy the Google Pixel in Sweden right now is because companies have imported them by themselves and not by Google. But I'm seriously intrigued by this. I don't understand why they don't sell their new flagship smartphone in more countries when it's obviously so popular. So if you know something about it, or you have a qualified guess or something, leave it down in the comments, and like this video if you think it was interesting or something like that. And if it sucked, let me know as well. See you next time.